guys, you're watching Draper Movies, and today I'm starting a new series of F1 2011. The reason I chose 2011 is because I didn't buy 2012 because it seems like it wasn't that great. And so yeah, this is the most recent copy of the game I have. And so this is going to be a highlight montage of my Australian Grand Prix to commemorate the Australian Grand Prix taking place. And as you can see, here is the basic question. But of course, you've got to say, so basically it's a means of inputting your name, your nationality, and your team.
What are your expectations heading into your first season?
And so, as you can tell,
great stuff. I look forward to seeing just how you get on in Australia.
It's quite neat that they put it on as a method of sort of starting the campaign up. It makes it feel more realistic. And so Williams welcomes Draper to the team. Sir Frank Williams believes their new signing Joe Draper can deliver their team success in this year's Formula 1 Drivers' World Championship. We are looking forward to and then there's the teams that announced this year's driving lineup, with me being included. And so, and there's new rules such as KERS and DRS and all of that stuff. And well, yeah, that's it really. And so that basically acts as a power up, which you can use at certain points if you don't know the basic rules of F1. So Melbourne, the 2011 Formula 1 Qantas Australian Grand Prix. Welcome to Williams. Team name AT&T Williams. Team principal Frank Williams. There's the motorhome, which I will live in for spend the next few months in. First important thing for an F1 driver is you have to pick out your helmet. So there you can see that blue is my favourite colour, so I picked out a blue racing helmet. And I've got some emails, you may have noticed. So welcome to Formula 1. Welcome to the world of Formula 1. To clarify, yada 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 yada. So not really important. It's basically just a welcoming role. Someone saying, yeah, welcome, I'm your boss, wife, whatever, I don't know. Welcome to Williams. Joel, I just wanted to welcome you to Williams and wish you well for the season ahead. Thank you, Frank. I look forward to seeing what you can do. Sir Frank Williams. Race weekend introduction. Hi, welcome to Williams. Just wanted to let you know that there's every event I will email you a range of useful information such as weather and stuff like that. Okay, yeah, basic stuff you also got from the last one. Press coverage from the new season. As usual, new season is a starting time and exciting time and stuff like that. So, yep. Race information for Melbourne. Practice clear, qualifying clear, race light cloud. Well, that's good, at least we ain't got rain to deal with. So now we just go to the race calendar and to the practice session. The practice at Albert Park Racing Circuit in Melbourne, Australia. There you can see the beautiful there you can see me jumping into the car, and for a split moment there you could see you can see the racing circuit, bits of it. And so this is the practice session, and as I said, this is going to be a highlight session. So therefore, I'm not going to include the whole thing, so I would be here for literally hours if I did the whole thing for everything. And so therefore, we are going to go have a lap. So here you can see that I've been given the number 12 by Williams, and this is of course my first proper lap, and I of course sort of missed it up a bit, but of course the whole point of F1 is you race cars around, and hopefully this will be a long and exciting series that I can get out on time, but if not, oh well. So this is my first ever recorded lap of F1 2011, just about to begin. And as it begins, you can see all the start and stuff. and you can see me in this like driving relatively well and getting everything up to speed with the custom difficulty that I picked. So that, and it's good, and so you brake a bit early. And as you can see, just driving around the corners take it relatively easy because it is only practice. You don't really need a good result in practice, it's just to impress your team. And so, therefore, the reason I chose Williams over any other team, if anyone is wondering, is that of course I'm British and Williams is British. So therefore, by doing the Britishness, I can be a member of a British team, so that's all good. And so you can see me driving the first lap, and we're coming into the more tighter section of the circuits, but it's all well and good because it's all well and good. Practice gives us the time to practice where we want to brake, where we want to stop, what kind of speed we want into every corner, things like that, so that's all well and good. And that completes my first recorded lap of F1 2011, however there were other good practice laps that I did. For example, this one is a good one, and it was more later on in the session. And I was 23rd out of 24 drivers, which isn't exactly great, so I try and put in a good performance with timing and stuff. And I brake there and take the corner, and as you can see I have the option tyres, so I have the better grip. And yep. And I just crashed into the wall twice, but that didn't really affect my lap time much, or maybe ever so slightly. But so we take these corners and we go at speed and make everything notice how well everything is going. And so yeah, as you can see the beautiful visual, stunning graphics for this Grand Prix, the F1 Grand Prix. And as you can see, we were coming into the third and final sector. We were 2 seconds quicker than nearly 3 seconds quicker than our last lap time. So we go and drive, taking the last few corners to get a good speed, a good opportunity to race well. And they turn the corner, and I put all my speed and DRS and all of that into the last corner. And so that gives us 3 seconds and 6 and 7 of an increase. And so after that session we had an interview asking us what we wanted to do. And so as I said,
So are you happy with the car your team have given you
so
for the season?
I'm pretty happy with the car, but we might struggle a bit. And so of course next important part of an F1 race weekend is qualifying. Qualifying determines your race position on the grid, and as you can see me jumping into the car there, and the objective, finish 15th or higher. That's our objective, so I'm pretty happy with what we get. But I decided to increase my setup so that it's faster, so that we can get some better lap times in. And then we go and we start our first qualifying lap for F1 2011 to see where we get. Of course our objective is just to get into the second round of qualifying. After that it's not too big a deal where we go or where we end up. In F1 2010 I did end up on pole position once with a Hispania car, but that never happened IRL, so oh well. So as you can see, we start off our first qualifying lap with the hopes of getting a good score to put my car on the grid, and we take the first few corners relatively easily. It's all relatively good, putting it all out there to try and get a better lap time. And then as you can see, we just passed Carpacine of Hispania, the team who I raced for in F1 2010. And so we take the corner and we spin round and we go a bit slightly further and whatnot. And we take the corner and go round. And this is the more tighter bit, so you're more likely to pick up speed. But it's also a relatively bad place to crash, because if you do that, you basically cause an issue and you may end up ending the session, so that's not really a good place to crash. But as you can see, we set a best time for the first sector, although that's probably because we were the first person to set a lap. And then we drive and we take the corner. And of course I want to try and get as many lap times and as many good, decent lap times as I can, giving me much opportunity to improve. And so going round the last two corners of this Albert Park racing circuit, we go round and we get a 1:34.469, but unfortunately that wasn't enough, and in the race Button got pole, I got 16th, and Ruben Barrichello, my teammate, got 18th. So of course we start off, and unfortunately the audio had to go because there were a few issues with it. And there you can see me sorting out my camera as I start the race and start to move, and we slowly start to. And as you can see, the start of an F1 race is relatively exciting, usually with like the group bunching up. And as the first people break, I managed to gain a load of places, jumping from 14th to 12th before passing a few more people and jumping from there to 11th. And you've got Perez, Massa, all of that, all the big names in F1 there. And I just jumped a few more places to make my way up to 6th, when my objective is to finish 12th. So of course, being 6th at this current point into actually 5th, and then I move up to 5th, and then being 5th at this point in time is a relatively good thing you want to do, because it means that you would have succeeded your objective. And we go off a bit, but we don't lose a place, which is relatively good. And so yeah, so we try and catch up and try and see how at this rate I'm feeling relatively confident in my own ability, knowing that I'm 5th, despite the fact I finished 16th, and I could easily... started 16th, and could easily just finish or in a podium position as long as I do everything right. And so, by now, it seems I've got more chance of being overtaken than catching the car in front of me, it appears. But then we try and complete our first lap to do relatively well, and to see if we can keep up this good performance, because as long as we finish higher than 12th, it's all good. But at the moment we're 5th, which is actually better than expected. So we drive around and we start to, and as you can see, that's my first completed lap. It's a 1:43, and then we go into the next lap, and not the next lap, sorry, the changing over, and I pass them, but then I screw up my camera, and then I can pass Barami again, but I don't. I spin and I lose a place or a few, and there's an incident ahead apparently. I'm guessing that's to do with me, and as you can see, we've already screwed up. We've now screwed up because in those past two accidents we've gone from 5th to 9th, which isn't exactly what you want to be if you want to exceed 12th. So we then have to try pushing harder to try and get a better position as we race. And we try and overtake Lewis Hamilton, see if we can get a good grade. And we manage to force him off and manage to pass him, so we gain a position. And then next challenge, next potential overtake opportunity, where I almost overtake Rosberg and I accidentally clash into him. But we all go, and as you can see, we're doing relatively well in terms of sector pace, because we've still got the fastest lap in that, or the fastest time in that sector. And then while trying to overtake Rosberg, we go out, we spin, and we lose a few places, and now we go from 6th or whatever it was to there. And then so in this one, I'm trying to overtake Perez, and I do it, and then go out wide and completely screw up. And then in this one, we're trying to overtake both Schumacher and Perez. I force Schumacher off, and then I have to pit, so it's unfortunate. And so here we can easily lose a few places from the ground, and this could easily mean that I probably ain't going to be able to do the 12 because I started off on the option tyre and I have to go with a normal tyre, so therefore I ain't going to be as fast as I would have been. And so we get on and we race, and as you can see, it's a relatively good pit stop, and we drop from there to 12th, and of course where we want to be is 12, so we've got to at least try and exceed that. And so we leave the pit lane in 12th. Next opportunity where I tried to take Louisi and Hamilton. Don't know why Louisi was there, considering he's Hispania. Here, this corner seems to be a problem because I spin and lose and Hamilton regains his place. This was later on in that lap, and then now we lose it again, and we crash into the wall, and we go from 10th. And as you can see, 10th going in like 3 corners from the end. And all of a sudden, we've dropped from 10th to 12th to 13th to 14th to 15th. And don't forget, we're supposed to finish 12th, and we've already screwed up. And we've crashed into Schumacher, and we got a penalty for an illegal overtake, which isn't exactly what you want to hear. I crash into Kobayashi, I spin, I reverse, trying to think it would be a good idea, but it's not, and so I have to spin around again. And we go from there to 16th to 17th. We then overspin, and then we go from 17th to 18th. And despite the fact we were supposed to finish 12th in that race, we then end up going in the last 3 corners alone, go from 10th to 8th in a disappointing performance. 10th to 18th in a disappointing performance. As you can see, I had the fastest lap. I went down, and there you can see I'm 18th. I was 18th in the race. And I failed my objective of finish 12th or above. And yeah, if you would like more F1, just subscribe. But yes, get that camera out of here. If you want more F1, just subscribe. And bye! And bye!